Shalom. I am Benaiah Ben Israel, and I would like to welcome you to the African Israelite Justice Foundation. Roughly 9 months ago, the world witnessed the unprecedented persecution of Kyrie Irving. For it was then that African Israelites around the world, and in particular here in the States, realized that there was no organization to plead our cause, to voice our concerns, or to point out the hypocrisy and the injustice by those who themselves owe Black folks an apology and a paycheck. Well, no more. We are happy to announce a birth, born out of adversity, roughly 9 months in the making, an organization which will fight for the rights of Israel, the African Israelite Justice Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to protecting African Israelites from all forms of injustice. Our mission is to advocate for the rights afforded to all citizens, such as freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of assembly, and the right to petition the government. We seek to protect these rights without being condemned, persecuted, punished, or bullied. We will also strive to protect African Israelites against bullying, harassment, Hebrewophobia, racist attacks, defamation of character, financial attacks, and hate crimes. We pledge to serve our community with dignity and excellence to the best of our ability. And we won't rest until every single African Israelite is protected. So join us Visit us today online at israelitejustice.org and show your support and share your stories of injustice with us, where we will collect them, investigate them, and most high willing, through judicial and legislative means, and the power of the Most High Yah, prosecute them. And with that, thank you for your time and your support. And remember, it is time for Israel's voice to be heard. Shalom.
What's going on, family? Let's get the likes and shares up. Come on, y'all, smash that like button. What's interesting is I'll get 2,000 people watching me, but only get like 200 people that hit that like button. Y'all, I want to see the best like button hits I've ever seen since I've been on YouTube. I want to see it because I want to bring more people to conversation. I'm not trying to do this for, likes and shares. I like it. It's cool, the likes and the shares. But I want to see more people engaged in our conversations because we need this type of conversation. These are real conversations that need to be had in our community to understand what it means when it comes to when we create legislation like this called HR 6090. How people feel about it. I don't care about what y'all think, but at the end of the day, this does affect everybody. We can't change what they're trying to do, but we can say, man, look, this ain't cool. They still gonna do what they do. The press is still gonna oppress. We know this. This is just the game. This is just the game. The world we live in. This is the life we chose. You can't. Oh, Rio is in rare form, y'all. Y'all know my dog. Here, Rio. I'm gonna put him up for this conversation. So y'all tell Rio good night. Rio is gonna go in his cage. Here, I gotta fish him out with french fries. Come on. Here. And you are officially in jail. The oppressor has oppressed you. You are put in your cage. Free Rio. y'all know my dog is wild. Y'all know my dog is crazy. Let me make sure my laptop is charged. For some reason, y'all, I done had this laptop for a long time, and now it seems like the battery is just kaput. I done had this laptop since I was in Virginia. In fact, I bought this laptop when I was in Virginia, so it shouldn't be that old though. It's only been 2 years? 2 years. So hold on, y'all. Hold on, y'all. Oh, here we go. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for a conversation? All right. So I'm good now. My laptop ain't gonna die on me. Y'all hit that like button. So y'all, somebody said to me, a little birdie told me that this new bill is going to hurt them in the long run. So the reason I've been quiet over the weekend, y'all know everybody been like, when you going back live again? I try to put content out there, but sometimes I just want to see when something as big as this HR 6090 goes out. I want to see what happens, how it hits, how it impacts other people. And I've been watching a few things. So let me play a video for y'all. Let me go to my email. I had to send a TikTok to my email. TikTok is the only place where you're going to get what's going on. You're not going to get it in YouTube. YouTube is not going to play it for you. But TikTok is wild, honey. It's wild. So let me show y'all how this is working for the people. I should have downloaded the video, but we are here. Oh, I don't want that. So I want to show, I'm going to share my screen. Let me see. Come on, come on. I can't see my, hold on, y'all. Here we go. All right, for some reason, TikTok doing some weird stuff, but let's get it started. Hello, hello, all. Hello, all. If you are new, first, before I start this show or this live, all my new people, if you've only been with me for 2 weeks, I want you to give me a 1 because I want to make sure that we welcome you to these conversations. If you've only been with me, I say a month. If you've only been with me for a month, hit that 1 button so I can introduce you to the family. I want all the newbies to be, I want everybody to know who the new folks are so we can show them love and tell them welcome to the family. I don't care who you are, how you look. Hit that 1 button and we're going to sit down and we're going to ask you what your opinion is. Come on, y'all. Come on. Come on. Welcome. 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 Come on. Davon, I hope I'm saying it right. Davon, welcome. Welcome. Hold on. Let's go back to you. Davon, welcome. This is the place where you can chill, sit back, listen to the dialogue, listen to the conversation, provide your input. If you don't agree with us, that's fine. Just be respectful. Just know that you are in a safe space. I tell people that when you talk to me, feel like you're in a safe space because you are. I don't care who you are, what you are, how you look. If you in here, hit that 1 button to let me know you're in here. All right. I'm getting ready to get started because I know how my folks are. Carol, what's going on? What's going on? My beloved sister, Carol. Let's do a roll call, y'all. I got to do a roll call. It's 50 of y'all in here, so I'm just going to say real quick. Jay Hostile, welcome. Love y'all. Stephanie, Mariah, Sharpen One. Eric, what's up? Hawk Eye, welcome. Susan J, what's going on? I'll be in that tea conversation. Y'all, y'all check out Sheila and support Sheila and her effort with the wellness women community. Tracy, welcome. Y'all, welcome. Okay, y'all, I gotta save my voice because something going on. One, I'm hot. Y'all, I promise y'all right now, I'm hot. I'm having my own personal summer. I'm just joking. I'm not there yet. But it's hot in here. This weather's shifting and my apartment is hot. So hold tight. And we finna get the party started. So y'all, they've been really cutting up. They've been really cutting up with what's going on with the news and how this movement has caused an uproar in the political community. I'm getting some water now. So while I'm getting some water, I'm gonna share this video. Is this the one? Yep. I'm gonna mute myself out so y'all can see it.
Why are most politicians afraid to speak out against Israel? It's because they're bought out. Let's talk about it. Through political lobbying with an organization known as AIPAC, American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, they are able to buy out politicians on both Democrat and Republican sides. The only purpose that AIPAC serves in government is to push pro-Israeli policies. This is a list of just the senators that get paid out by AIPAC, and we're talking about millions per candidate. Not only do they buy out politicians on a bi-yearly basis in both the midterms and the general elections, they also spend millions of dollars against candidates who are progressive and can potentially go against their agenda. For example, in the last election cycle, they spent a whopping $28.5 million just against the progressive candidates who were trying to speak out for Palestinian rights and or criticize Israel. Through lobbying and access to money, Israel is now literally controlling most politicians and our political election outcomes.
That's not the last one. I got another one to play. Y'all ready? Are y'all ready? This is what we do. Hit one if you're ready. I got another one coming. Here I come. I'm trying to get my little video to paste. Hold on. I'm sending it to you now. So I'm going to play a couple of more videos for you, and then we're going to talk through it. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Which email did it go to, Saints? Oh, it went to my personal email. I had to be careful. I don't need this to go to my work email. Hold on. Okay. So here's another video I'm playing. Y'all know TikTok is a little different. Here we go.
We have a dirty political system. It's completely corrupted by money, completely corrupted by influence. The fact that, the lobbyists, there's an area outside of Washington, D.C. It's one of the richest areas in the country, and it's where the lobbyists live. There's so much money involved in being a lobbyist. There's so much money involved in special interest groups and how much of an impact they have on who gets elected and what decisions get made once that person gets elected. We know this, right? We know it's not for the people, by the people. It's just not what it is. This country is an experiment in self-government, and if we could do it all over again, I would say the most important thing is to have laws in place to keep money out of politics and to make it a heinous crime for someone to influence laws and policy based entirely on the amount of profit it could generate for a party or for a company that is investing in a candidate. That's fucking incredibly dangerous, and it's corrupt. And that corruption has been accepted. We've just accepted that this corruption exists.
So what we're seeing right now is everybody is beginning to call out the concept of a lobbyist. I need to be a lobbyist for the Israelite community. Hey, do y'all want me to be the lobbyist? I need to move to DC, but they probably kick me out and say, change laws for us, which I know that can never happen. But with that being said, what's going on right now is that HR 1690 has at one time where people wasn't too much paying attention to communities like AIPAC and pro-Israel communities, where we just like they doing their thing. Lobbyists do what lobbyists do. Lobbyists just be lobbying. That's just how they are. But what has transpired is, even if you're not a believer, the fear right now is you are controlling my right to speak freely, which is a constitutional right. And I'll play something for you. Let me see. I had the video up, and let me find it. Oh, where is it? Y'all had it. I'm mad at myself. The thing is, hold on. I think I sent it to Angie and them. Hold on. I'm going to play something for you. I'm going to show you why they're so concerned. Here we go. Okay. Oh, here we go. I found it. I'm finna send it. Let me send it to myself. And then I'm going to send it to my email. And then I'm going to play it for y'all. And y'all see what I'm talking about. Why people are concerned. Because people think it's a Jewish community thing. No, it's a thing of now people are concerned about their constitutional right to freedom of speech. And they feel like that's being invaded right now. And people get concerned. They get real concerned in this country about that. One thing about this country, they thrive off of freedom of speech. If you KKK, they want freedom of speech. If you Black Panther, you want freedom of speech. If you whatever, if you are women's feminist movement, you're about freedom of speech. If you whatever community, they're about freedom of speech. I don't care how much it is disrespectful, because some things I think people just need to shut up, and it just shows that they're idiots. But people here are very, very, very aware and conscious of their rights, because you're dealing with a country that has been pushing the concept and the propaganda that we are a free nation for 400 years, meaning freedom of speech, freedom to bear arms. Certain things, the freedoms, they just like, I'm not going to give up. And you can't snatch that from a country that's what they are built upon. That's what their foundation is built upon. It's not about your situation. It's about the fact that you're bringing your agenda over here and telling us we're going to silence you. Another thing that has transpired is they're silencing other media outlets. Al Jazeera just got their headquarters or their location in Israel has been shut down, and they're no longer able to broadcast anything within Israel. So it's like they're shutting, but you can't do that over here when the foundation of the Constitution for them, not us, I understand that, for them is they have the right to speak their mind. Oh, Naomi, I'm gonna look at your news report. I'm sorry, I hadn't been looking at my email. If I don't play it tonight, I'll play it another night. I give you my word. I gotta review it. Anybody will tell you, if you give me something, I have to look at it before I play it, because YouTube is on some weird stuff right now. So if I don't play it tonight, just I'm gonna do some more stuff this week. So so with that being said, Scott, they ain't with that. And people get afraid when they think that their rights are being intruded on here in this country. And people are mad. And this HR 6090 is telling Christian community that you can't preach Christ and his crucifixion and the truth behind the crucifixion. I don't care if they atheists right now. They're saying, wait a minute, you can't say that. You can't tell people they can't. And that's where they are right now. And what's going on is this HR 6090 bill is slapping them in their face and saying, how dare you? How dare you? So I'm going to play something for you. So right now, AIPAC is on the hot seat. They on the hot seat. I just hate to say it. They on the hot seat. I ain't gonna say I hate to say it, but they on the hot seat right now. They've allowed the lobbyists to make the decision on all lobbyists, to make the decision on the pulse of this nation. And lobbyists have now gotten out of control, where they're getting to the point that they're able to create controls and boundaries within an environment that didn't have those controls and boundaries. One being this HR 6090. You're telling people who have freedom of religion, it's another constitutional right we have, that now possibly the professing and preaching of Christ crucified could be, or the Bible itself can be under question, and you can deem it as anti-Semitic. I think they crossed the boundary that yet it's not working for them. So I'm gonna play this for you. So everybody hitting up on it. They like, nah, we ain't finna do this. So I'm gonna play it.
American Israel Public Affairs Committee. It was incorporated in 1963. For 10 years, known as the American, both direct contribution to that, it was known as. Talk about AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. It was incorporated in 1963. For 10 years prior to that, it was known as the American Zionist Committee for Public Affairs. AIPAC calls itself America's pro-Israel lobby, and according to its website, it has over 3 million members across the country in regional chapters working to, quote, expand and strengthen the U.S.-Israel relationship, end quote. You may know AIPAC as being one of the biggest and most recognizable donors to many of the members of Congress in your state. But contributing to campaigns is a relatively new function of the organization. Before 2021, AIPAC did not endorse candidates nor give political contributions. Its focus was on lobbying elected officials, not actually electing officials. But in a dramatic shift in policy, AIPAC began directly funding candidates and spending big on races in 2021. AIPAC Political Action Committee, AIPAC-PAC, filed something called a Statement of Organization with the FEC just in time for the 2022 election cycle, where it spent $50 million, including both direct contributions to candidates and outside spending like TV advertisements. According to AIPAC, it donated money to 365 candidates from both parties, including every single member of both Democratic and Republican leadership in Congress. 109 Republicans who voted against the certification of the 2020 presidential election in America received campaign contributions from AIPAC. All in all, AIPAC gave money to 342 members of the 118th Congress. The 2022 elections were the most expensive midterms in American history, with a total cost of $8.9 billion spent. Now, last year, AIPAC ranked 15th in total expenditure by a political action committee, according to data collected by Open Secrets. But take a look at the other funders that AIPAC is competing against for that title. Act Blue and Win Red. They are Democratic and Republican Party machines. Save America is Donald Trump's money-raising operation. The Conservative Club for Growth, Emily's List, focuses on electing Democratic women to office. All of the PACs on this list are massively domestic-focused ideological machines. AIPAC is the only organization in the top 20 whose interests are focused entirely on America's relationship to a foreign government. Now, let's take a look at who benefits from AIPAC's largesse.
I'm going to pause right there, because that right there is why people now are saying, wait, hold on. It will shock me down here soon that the people start pushing, saying that no more lobbyists. Because what's going on is literally lobbyists are going in and buying the representative and making them do. And what happens is you're going to see what they do if they don't like you. But they're literally buying the campaign. And when they buy the campaign, they said 95% of the candidates out of the 100% that they pay out, 95% of them win. 95% of them win. That's a lot of power. So right now, people are saying you're caring about foreign interests when we're at a time when the economy is crap right now. Okay, I must have been on mute. I'm gonna go back over what I just said. Y'all know I'm a little special. So right now, I'm gonna stop right there and I'm gonna let you hear what he just said. He said foreign. I'm gonna play that back because I was full talking on mute. I'm gonna play this one part back again.
Let's take a look at who benefits from AIPAC's largesse. Here are the top of foreign government. Now, AIPAC is the only organization in the top 20 whose interests are focused entirely on America's relationship to a foreign government. Now, I'm
gonna pause right here. This is exactly. Oh, y'all heard me? How did I end up muting out that fast? Okay, so good, y'all heard me. So with that being said, y'all, because I could have sworn I said, wait a minute, I'm muted. But with that being said, people now are saying, wait, hold on. You're taking care of foreign interests right now. This nation is broke. People are they not getting the money they need to even simply buy groceries. People are frustrated by the fact of you are paying money about foreign interests. Y'all are taking care of foreign interests. Y'all are shipping money off to the wars to Ukraine, shipping the road to the wars of Israel. And here it is, people here can barely pay their rent. Health insurance is ridiculously high. Groceries are ridiculously high. Cost of living is consistently going up. People are hurting right now financially. I don't care how much money you make. You can make $30,000 to $200,000 a year. You're gonna feel it. I know people in that top bracket, and guess what? They feeling it. Where I would go and buy 6 items at the grocery store, it would cost me $30. You buy $6 in the grocery store now, you're spending $100. And now they're saying you're constantly, then not to mention, I found out that the U.S. lost some money due to some, and he's going to say it in a minute, we'll talk through that, about with Israel some years back because of some data being exposed, financial data being exposed. So right now, we are crippled right now financially. And you sitting here saying you sending money where? Oh, the politicians are bought and paid. That means y'all got money to splurge. But Americans, people here can't live comfortably no more. I heard some arrogant politician say, well, maybe you should stop going to brunch so much. Wait, if I want to go to brunch once a week, I should have that God-given right because I work. So you want us to sit poor in the house? Not to mention, I heard through the grapevine that they're trying to push an agenda to stop all the people doing their side hustles. How you gonna mess with people's side hustles? They messing with folks' side hustles. So if you sell a plate out the house to make some extra money, they're trying to make that illegal. Uber Eats and all that, they trying to make that stuff illegal, saying that they're helping us. They're crippling us even more. They're crippling us to the point they're making us poor and they're getting richer off of doing things in foreign nations when they need to stay out of everybody's business and figure out what's going on over here. Man, so this is why right now this is a hot topic. People looking at them sideways and saying, why y'all sending money over there? Why is AIPAC paying y'all to say yes to this war? And throughout this war, y'all sending billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars over there. And people in this country are struggling. The homeless situation is horrible. Not to mention what's going on with this migrant situation. So right now, they pretty much shot themselves in the foot. One thing about Black folks is we'll get a pot of beans and make it work. We'll get a bag of rice and make it work. We'll get some powdered milk and make it work. We'll get some water and make it work. We know how to say, you know what? I'm finna pack up, take my stuff, and all of us gonna pack up in mama's house. We gonna make it work. Because we've made a dollar stretch for so long that now a dollar now almost turned into a rubber dollar. We didn't stretch it beyond the capacity. So we know, but other people who are not used to that, you grow some wild mustards. Yes, there we go. Grow some wild mustards and eat off that. Don't play with it. We know how to make it work. But when you're dealing with a group of individuals that have never been in the clinch like this before, have never had to struggle, they want to know what's going on. So I'm gonna keep playing this.
Let's take a look at who benefits from AIPAC's largesse. Here are the top 20 recipients in Congress, the House and the Senate, of AIPAC money in the 2022 midterm cycle, according to Open Secrets. They're members of both parties. They come from every corner of the country with varying levels of experience in Congress. The Democrat Glenn Ivey of Maryland tops the list. He beat out fellow Democrat Donna Edwards in Maryland's House primary after AIPAC poured millions into pro-Ivey advertisements and mailers. Edwards was running for a second stint in Congress after serving during the Obama administration, where she voted present, not even a no, on a number of pro-Israel resolutions. So the money poured in against her. Not even an endorsement from Nancy Pelosi could save her.
They control the politics. They pour money into a candidate that they want and push positive campaign ads to draw you in, to make you want to vote for them. But what they do is pour money into building a negative campaign for someone they oppose. You see that? When they oppose, so they pour money on both sides. And people now have realized y'all been playing us. Y'all been playing us. It's probably been some good candidates out there that people ignore because the campaign that was being, or the propaganda being pushed, made us think that they were the worst person in the world. And when we really look behind the veil, they really wasn't that bad. But because they had a stamp on their back and people said, we're going to push a negative campaign to make a person not want them. Man.
Michigan Democrat Haley Stevens unseated Democratic Representative Andy Levin. Here's what Levin had to say about that.
I'm really Jewish, but AIPAC can't stand the idea that I am the clearest, strongest Jewish voice in Congress, standing for a simple proposition that there's no way to have a secure democratic homeland for the Jewish people unless we achieve the political and human rights of the Palestinian people.
AIPAC spent $4 million against Levin. He lost by 20 points. When Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, the only Palestinian American in Congress, was censured by the House in early November over what some lawmakers called her rhetoric around the Israeli-Hamas war, 22 Democrats joined Republicans in that censure vote. 18 of those Democrats received campaign funds from AIPAC in 2022, totaling more than $1.1 million. By the way, for these 6 of them, AIPAC was their top contributor. A growing list of progressive lawmakers who are vocal in their criticism of the government of Israel and its policies and their support for Palestinian self-determination have inspired AIPAC to spend even more. As progressive lawmakers began calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, Slate reported that insiders expect AIPAC's 2024 spending to hit $100 million. In fact, United Democracy Project, which is a pro-Israel super PAC affiliated with AIPAC, is already spending money on attack ads against Democratic Representatives Jamal Bowman of New York and Summer Lee of Pennsylvania. Lee has already got a primary challenger, as do Cori Bush and Ilhan Omar. Pro-Israel donors have already signaled that they are eager to primary Rashida Tlaib and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Congresswoman Lee already overcame AIPAC's financial influence against her once. She tweeted criticisms of Israel's treatment of Palestinians in 2021, but as a candidate, she affirmed Israel's right to exist. But that's not good enough. AIPAC spent nearly $3 million in the primary alone to defeat Lee, and they almost did. She beat Stephen Irwin, who is 3rd on the list of money given to candidates by AIPAC in 2022, by less than 1,000 votes. And if Congresswoman Lee wants to keep her seat in 2024, she's going to have to do it all over again. She joins me in studio after this break.
Man, y'all see this? Y'all see this? Man, I'm telling y'all. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Cat Williams said 2024 is the year of truth. The truth is coming out. Man, when I tell y'all so much truth been coming out this year, I've been like, what the every week is something. Y'all can't tell me every week is something. Every week is something. Week before last, we had an earthquake. I was stuck in the middle of that in Brooklyn. Week before last, we had the whole thing with Palestine being where Iran responded to Israel. Israel responded back to Iran. It's been so much going on. Y'all, if y'all could just see right now how my arms are swinging right now, because I'm highly expressive right now. This year has been the year, thank you so much, Ashonda, year of exposure. They're exposing. And the thing is, where are we now? What's today's date? May what? Let me see. I got my glasses on. May 6th. May 6th. We ain't even, let me see. February, March, June. Let me see, February, March, April, May. We're only 4 months into the year. 4 months. 4 months. We ain't even got to the 6-month mark. Y'all, what's going to happen by July? They're going to uncover a picture of Jesus, and he going to be black and look just like Denzel Washington by July. By the end of the year, the Israelites going to be black. That's how I'm looking like. This is where we are. The year of truth. Y'all, I mean, year of exposing. Diddy getting ready to go to jail. Jaguar. I watched Jaguar Wright. I'm sorry, y'all. Jaguar Wright spills. Y'all can't tell me y'all don't watch some of her videos. She spills all the tea about the industry. So you got that going on. You got the secular world. Then you got the political realm. Then, not to mention, you got the ones in the church. TD Jakes is on Front Street. All these evangelicals are on Front Street. John Hagee is a joke right now. A definite joke. Y'all, everything is coming out. Everything. Go ahead and order some snacks, Madison. You good. I got cash. Go on. I'm trying to get Madison. She wants some snacks. Look, I told her go ahead and order. Y'all tell Madison go ahead and order some snacks because she gonna be walking around here looking pitiful. Because yeah, we didn't eat a lot today. But y'all, oh yeah, I watched. If you don't watch, I watch all of Jaguar Wright stuff. Y'all can't tell me y'all don't watch it. I got to get caught up. Kara, I just got caught. I need to see part 2 to Jaguar Wright. Because I saw the first one where she had on the tan and white dress. There's a part 2 to the tan and white dress. Then they got one where she wearing, well, not pant, well, it was a pantsuit. Then they got one where she wearing an orange dress. I got to get caught up because I got behind. But when I tell you, the industry getting exposed, this political machine is getting exposed, these countries that people thought at one time was the country to support, they're getting exposed. Y'all, I'm telling y'all better repent because Lord is exposing everybody. He's exposing everybody. You better repent and get it together because whatever you got in the dark shall be brought into what? The light. I ain't finna play with them. Yeah, I gotta watch all 3 parts, Kara. I gotta finish watching it. But I'm telling y'all, you better repent. Others in the dark. Jesus said we finna expose all of them. I ain't finna play with them. People now are questioning their liberties and saying, am I truly in the home of the brave, the free? Y'all, how y'all think we're going to look by the end of the year? I got some more videos to show y'all. But how do y'all think we're going to be at the end of the year? It's a scary time. It's not scary, but it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be an interesting time. So right now, then not to mention Benjamin Netanyahu got a whole warrant out on him. A whole warrant. And the problem with this warrant, I was looking at it last night. I was looking at some videos last night. The whole problem with this warrant is the U.S. keeps getting in. Let me find that TikTok. Y'all, I go to bed watching TikTok. Sorry. That's why they hate TikTok, because TikTok is the new news. The new news. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on. I can't find. I can't find a video I was looking at. Dadgummit. Hold on. I thought I saved the video and I must have forgotten because I watched so many of them. Is this it? Oh, that's Benai's video. I find a video and I'll play it for y'all. Just in moments ago from here it is. I got another one to show y'all. Y'all ready? ICC. Did I say IIC? I meant ICC. I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm country. Don't judge me. ICC. It's easy to say IIC. Don't do me like that. But BB is going to. They trying to, and they said that if BB goes down, BB is going to take every country down with him. He already said, if I go down, y'all ninjas going down with me. And that's what everybody's afraid of. They're afraid of going down with the ship because he said, I'm not going down by myself. BB said he ain't going down by himself. BB said he taking some people with him, and y'all ninjas can play with him if y'all want to. He said, I'm taking y'all with me. I'm not going down by myself. Let me see. Was it on? I'm trying to see because I watched so many videos. Y'all don't realize I be watching videos all night. And it's like BB had warned them that if he goes down, he taking them down with him. Oh, here it is. The all-new GoDaddy. Oh, here it is. I found it. It was on YouTube. I got 2 videos. Y'all here for it? If y'all here for it, we gonna watch it. Let me see. Let me get this on my to show up on my history. With the perfect name. There we go. Thank y'all for y'all cash app. I'm gonna put it on to Madison Snacks. She mad at me because I ain't go to the store and buy no snacks. So thank you for your cash app on the snacks. Hold on, anybody else want to provide cash app snacks? Madison, oh, you found some? Oh, she good. She found her snack. Hold on. Here we go. We finna get it rolling. Have y'all ever heard of The Hill? Yeah. I'm gonna play this.
New proposal for a ceasefire with Israel on the table that Hamas is apparently weighing. Mediators say they are hoping to avert an Israeli assault on Rafah, where more than 1.4 million Palestinian civilians have fled to. It was originally the town that Israel said would be safe from an attack. Now, to be clear, the New York Times reported yesterday that Netanyahu vows to invade Rafah with or without a ceasefire deal. A UN report out this week said that if the war stopped today, it would take until at least 2040 to rebuild what has been destroyed over the last 7 months. The setback, the United Nations Development Report.
That's all I gotta say. Y'all watch this. We're in a time now where we're seeing news anchors get into it with each other. Just watch this. This is hilarious. They had to cut it short, but watch it.
Said will impact generations. In the past, Hamas has said it won't sign on to a deal to release all hostages without assurances that Israel will end the onslaught in Gaza and withdraw troops. Israel has said that it won't stop fighting until Hamas is destroyed.
Meanwhile, the threat by the International Criminal Court to issue warrants for senior Israeli leaders accused of war crimes has riled up Israel. Let's listen to what Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu had to say.
Branding Israel's leaders and soldiers as war criminals will pour jet fuel on the fires of anti-Semitism, those fires that are already raging on the campuses of America and across capitals around the world. It will also be the first time that a democratic country fighting for its life according to the rules of war is itself accused of war crimes. The Israeli army, the IDF, is one of the most moral militaries in the world. It takes endless measures to prevent civilian casualties, measures that no other army takes. It does so while fighting a terrorist enemy, which uses its own civilians as human shields. You know the truth.
I gotta change it. I gotta update it so I don't have to pay commercials no more. I'm gonna do that soon. Here we go.
The Middle East Eye reported that Netanyahu called hostage families to get them to lobby for the ICC to back down and not issue warrants. And Axios reported that Netanyahu issued a threat of sorts, saying he would punish the Palestinian Authority if warrants are issued. Israeli officials said, quote, it will consider the Palestinian Authority responsible and retaliate with strong action that could lead to its collapse. Note that the Palestinian Authority is the government in control in the West Bank, where Israel has been criticized for its illegal under international law settlements and the killing of Palestinians that may amount to war crimes, according to the ICC. America has gone out of its way to attempt to shield Israel from legal accountability under the ICC. GOP House Leader Mike Johnson argued that if the ICC was challenged by the Biden administration, it could create unprecedented power to issue arrest warrants against American political leaders, American diplomats, and American military personnel, he said, assuming, of course, they are convicted of war crimes. He went on to tweet on X, "The ICC should stand down on this immediately. Israel has the right to defend itself from terrorist organizations seeking to destroy it. Note to the ICC, the real criminals are with Hamas and in Iran." State Department spokesman Vedant Patel told the press, quote, "We do not believe the ICC has jurisdiction on this." Contrast that with President Biden's position here, rather, with the administration's reaction to an ICC warrant issued for Vladimir Putin for alleged war crimes in Ukraine, which Biden praised. Biden is now using a similar jurisdiction deflection that Putin used himself in his own self-defense when under scrutiny by the ICC for war crimes in Ukraine. This is fascinating. This amounts basically to a defense, Israel saying in response to potential ICC warrants being issued, again, for its conduct that it has been carrying out for years, even long before October 7th, including murders of Palestinian civilians in the West Bank as part of its illegal settlement expansion campaign, to say, if you issue warrants for my past criminal behavior, I'm going to do more criminal behavior in the West Bank, a kind of mafia-ish sort of a threat. And in the midst of all of that, you have the bipartisan American state really coming to the defense to shield Israel from any accountability under international law, arguing that it would create a slippery slope of sorts that can negatively affect American leaders who also commit war crimes. I think a lot of people look at that and say, well, we want there to be accountability when you litigate an illegal war like the wars that America has been involved in for the last 20 years.
Well, I'm sure there are some people who say that. I don't want American leaders to engage in illegal or unconstitutional wars. I want them held accountable when they violate the law by the U.S. government. I don't want some international organization to have authority over what the U.S. does and does not.
Well,
I understand.
We're not party to that.
Sure, and I absolutely agree with you on the hypocrisy point, on us saying that this court should, jail Putin or something like that, turning a total blind eye to the misdeeds of our own leadership and the misdeeds of Israel. So I think that's a fair criticism that we want the international forces sicked on our enemies, but also want license to do whatever we want at all times.
Well, I think that saying I think American leaders should be accountable, but just not to any foreign body, really raises the question: who on earth we expect to keep our own American leaders accountable? We saw this with Obama coming into office after the financial crisis, and we've seen this with every transition of power in American history. No new administration holds the prior administration accountable because they know that they are also going to engage in the same kinds of war crimes that every president does, in fact, engage in. And I don't know that that inures the benefit of the American people to basically let them have carte blanche because we are abstractly upset about the idea of international law holding America accountable the way it still does the rest of the world.
I don't know how abstract it is to wonder, will international law meet our standards of due process, of freedom of speech? I look at what the European Union has done, what every other country does that is contrary to our policies, our robust protections for freedom of speech. I don't want to be subject to other countries'
This is about war
laws
crimes.
and
This is they're litigating whether people have committed war crimes.
Yeah, I think many Americans or many conservatives would feel it is a slippery slope to giving international global government more power to decide American inter-policies.
Yeah, I'm glad you used that language. One tweet was doing the rounds, and Adam Shabinsky, he works at NVIDIA, he tweeted out, "Mother of all slippery slopes. Today, they indict Israel for a military response to a violent invasion and mass hostage-taking. Tomorrow, it's Tony Blair and Bush for Iraq and Barack Obama for drone killings with civilian deaths."
Yeah, but never China or Iran or Russia or any of the other bad actors on the world stage. Right. We only only the U.S. and Israel will be held to any kind of standard. That
so you
the
agree with
objection
this?
we have.
Oh, that's
100%.
funny. I was bringing this up because some people were dragging it on the internet as being laughable.
Right. There's only interest in punishing America and punishing Israel.
Well, it's the opposite. What's happening right now today, not in imaginary fantasy land, what's happening today is that America is the one that's uniquely absolved from any accountability. Israel is uniquely absolved from the rest of the accountability, and the rest of the world in the global south is constantly has their people rounded up and hauled into jail for doing things that in scale are much less impactful than what the most powerful.
Okay, are we sending U.S. Marshals to go arrest Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping? I don't think so. Yeah, I know it's the simplistic worldview, the leftist worldview that only the U.S. and only the Israel are at fault for anything that goes wrong in the world, and there are no bad actors on the global stage, and they're just reacting to bad things we've done, and not us.
Okay,
we are the prime movers, and
stick around. More Rising coming up after this. I don't.
She was clearly fed up. That was so funny when I saw it, because I understand what she's saying. She's saying countries with a smaller handprint or reach are being held accountable for war crimes, but countries that have a longer reach are totally absolved of any crimes that they have committed. The first crime that this country ever committed, that if they ever brought it to the forefront, was the slave trade. That's the first war. You took a whole group. You took a whole group of people, took them and brought them, and they have yet to be held accountable. But she was like, U.S. and Israel and all these other countries that have a longer reach have done more damage. But because they're who they are and they have the power that they have, they're not being held accountable. First war crime was the war crime on us of bringing us here. And that's what they need to bring up. That's a win-win if they ever brought that to the UN. They say y'all brought a people here, but she was, y'all know, she was fed up. She was like, no, that's not what that is. And he just kept, and she just said, you know what? I need to pay my Lexus bill. I need to pay my apartment. I need to pay this. Let me let him have this fight. I'm just saying Lexus. Yeah. I need to pay my BMW bill. So I need to just let him win. I choose not to die on this hill. That's my favorite phrase. I'm not dying on the hill for this one. And that's her attitude. She's like, forget it. You don't get it. Why am I sitting here arguing with you? Let me go back home and do my thing and report my little thing. I got to pay my bills. You know, black folks be like, girl, I got bills to pay. I'm not finna sit here and argue with you. You know, black folks real quick say, I'm not finna sit here and argue with you. Girl, go sit down somewhere. I'm not finna argue with you. And that's her attitude. She was like, I'm done. I'm not arguing. And she just said, I'm not dying on the hill for this one. You know what I'm saying. He still said that. She just like, I'm done. She said, this ain't my fight. And she did have a very balanced approach. She was narrow-minded. She wasn't being narrow. Yep. Yes, she was like, boy, bye. That was her attitude. She dropped it. She said, I'm done. Talk to that was her attitude. Like, I'm just not. I'm not dying on the hill for this. I'm done. Y'all can have the hill. I'm finna move on and let y'all have it. She was done. She was super articulate. She was very, she was getting a good point across, and she had him, but he just was, she just said, boy, you can have this. I'm just, ooh, he was getting on my nerves. So with that being said, the biggest concern, if you catch it, Israel is literally letting them know and others are letting them know. If I go down, do you realize y'all gave us money for this? U.S. y'all sent us billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars. You know why U.S. is trying to clean this up? Because U.S. knows that if Israel is brought in for war crimes, Israel is going to scream, but the U.S. funded us. The UK funded us. All these other European nations funded us. So why are we in front of y'all? Y'all need to bring everybody. Israel is getting ready to say, y'all don't just bring us, y'all bring everybody. And the U.S. is scared of that. The U.S. knows if they get put in front of the court for crimes and you notice they said they was talking about bringing in Israel for their current crimes and their past crimes. Israel said, try me if you want, U.S., because I can bring you in for current crimes and crimes dating all 400 years back. U.S. said, no, we ain't here that. We ain't here for that. Israel is holding them hostage right now. Israel is literally telling them, if I go down, you go down with me. That's his attitude. That's why he says it will be retaliation. I said, BB ain't playing with these ninjas. Y'all gave BB that money, and BB is like, I'm not. No. If I go down, you're going down with me. So either we fight and die on the hill together, or I go and I tell all y'all dirty little secrets and say, also, since y'all gonna try me for my past crimes prior to this event, let's go ahead and open the book for U.S. Wham! They don't want that word. They don't want that word. U.S. said, don't worry about it. We finna fix this for you. Don't worry about it, Israel. Don't worry about it. Sit tight. We finna go and work this out. Because in the back of their head, their biggest fear is the U.S.'s biggest. I really believe the U.S.'s biggest fear, if they're ever brought before the UN or brought before ICC, International Court System. I keep saying it wrong, y'all. I'm sorry. That's it. We riding together, we dying together. That's how they send them. But the U.S.'s biggest fear, Russia wanted to happen. I really believe Russia wants them to be brought in. Because Russia just sitting there like, y'all talking about what I've done. That's why Putin keep pulling up these black messiah pictures. He really just aggravating the evangelical community. I need him to pull up some more pictures because I loved when he pissed them off. I just love it. Evangelical community, they can kick rocks. The individual itself, I've met some cool evangelical individuals, but they get mad every time they pull up them photos. But they said, we ain't going down by ourselves. You're going down with us. And the U.S. is like, yep, we got to go fix that real quick. Because, BB gave them a good little conversation like, so either you take care of it or I take care of it. If I take care of it and I go down, I'm snatching you down with me. That's why he said retaliation. They hurry up and try. We're going to have to control the mouth of the people because they're creating a problem. Let's implement a bill called HR 6090. But y'all didn't think about the fact that bill had something that went against the fact. It's so many holes in this stuff. I'm like, it's like what you plug up one hole, another one, it creates two. That warrant, yes, that warrant. But a new trend has been transpiring where at one time AIPAC had control the narrative of who can get voted into office. Someone that was anti-AIPAC actually won a seat. That right there changed the game. I'll show y'all the video. I think this is the video, y'all. Don't charge to me if it ain't. Is this the one? No. I played that one already. Oh, here it is. I'm finna play the video. Y'all, this game is different now. I'm shocked. Everything going the way it's going. So let me share.
Just in moments ago from a major Democratic primary race in Pennsylvania, where an anti-Israel incumbent Democrat, a member of the ultra-liberal so-called Squad, has just survived a real challenge that no one thought would happen from a more moderate candidate, Congresswoman Summer Lee, first Squad member to face an actual primary vote where her position on Israel and Gaza became a focal point. She represents Pennsylvania's 12th district, which includes the Pittsburgh neighborhood of Squirrel Hill, the site of the heinous Tree of Life synagogue shooting in 2018. Her opponent is a more moderate Democrat and local council member, Bhavani Patel, has gone after Lee in her ads and so has a super PAC supporting her.
Summer Lee wants to dismantle the Democratic Party, undermine President Joe Biden, and even wants to abolish the police. It's not debatable, it's documented.
And in this moment, Representative Summer Lee is opposing President Biden. She and the Squad gave him the cold shoulder at the State of the Union, refusing to stand in support of his re-election.
Lee voted against a resolution which ultimately passed in the House condemning, quote, the support of Hamas, Hezbollah, and other terror organizations at institutions of higher education. She also voted against a resolution condemning the October 7th attacks. Along with fellow Israel critics Rashida Tlaib, Cori Bush, and Ilhan Omar, the Squad were out there during Biden's State of the Union in March, refused to take part in the standing ovations from other Democrats. Omar's daughter was just arrested at the Columbia protests in New York. Last month, Jewish leaders in Lee's congressional district delivered a letter rebuking her over her public statements and views towards Israel throughout the war and since the October 7th attack, accusing her of, quote, divisive language that they have found to sometimes be, quote, openly anti-Semitic. Politico reported that campaign signs for Patel in the district were often paired in front yards and on roadsides with signs reading, "We stand with Israel." But Lee told the New York Times it should be seen as it's not the only issue that was important. She has the support of the establishment. It's a heavily redistricted district, and it's a very Democratic area. But she barely won it the first time. And of course, popular Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman has become very outspoken in his pro-Israel views.
Yeah, she still won. Yeah. She was not AIPAC's pick. I say it like that. That's the best way I can put it. She was not their pick. They didn't like her, and they still don't like her. And she won. She won. She won. And I'm just like, wow. Y'all, this is very interesting times. Hey, Buckhorse DC, thank you. Thank you. You new to the channel. Thank you. But it is, that's interesting. So again, this war, the genocide, students protesting, HR 6090, I thought was going to work to kind of keep everybody quiet, has made it even more of a situation. The exposure of things like Open Secret, TikTok showing these avenues. They like, everything is coming from every direction for them. After all this, y'all still try to push a bill to silence everybody and didn't think that this generation was not going to read the bill and then look at the actual bill that it referenced, meaning working definition of anti-Semitism. And they looked at it and figured out, and it says that anything that talks about killing Jesus can be considered to be anti-Semitic. Then Dr. Brown said, no, that's not what it is. Well, let's go, Dr. Brown, and look at this video. Let's go and look at this bill Let's look at the document that defines the working definition of anti-Semitism. Let's look at all the characteristics of anti-Semitism that's within that definition. And let's have a discussion on that one little section right there. That one little section. Too many people have played it for y'all to hurry and go delete it. If you go delete it now, then we'll look at y'all sideways and say, what you trying to fix? These black Christians quiet as a church mouse right now. Because some of them probably getting paid. Some of y'all probably getting paid. Some of these people in the Israelite community as well. Watch some of them. Some of them are questionable. Because it's got an Israel a stamp on their forehead. Our folks too. I look at them sideways as well. Don't nobody get a pass with me. But y'all quiet. Y'all quiet. That bill is just it goes everything against Christ. If y'all ain't spoke out against this because y'all scared of y'all checks, that's a problem. If you are a congressional leader and you're good with this bill and you're a believer because you're getting a fat check, that's a problem. I don't see who did it, but you know who sees it. These people don't realize there's a life after this. God promises us only a vapor of life in comparison to an eternity. You can hate me on this side. You're going to probably get like 80 years out of me. But eternity? No, I'm good on that. Eternity is a long time. There's no end to eternity. There's an end to this. There's an expiration date to this. There's no expiration date to eternity. So either you serve him on this side or you deal with the repercussions of not serving him on the other side. Look, 80 years. 80 years seem long to us here, but on the other side, this is just a vapor. It's just a vapor of smoke. As soon as it appears, it disappears. Yep. Life is real short. Ooh, it's gonna be interesting. So, y'all been enjoying the consistent videos I've been doing? Y'all bring more people. Thank y'all for liking and sharing, and keep smashing that like button. Keep subbing. Bring your friends. I don't care how you look. Come on in this conversation. I want to see what some of these white people think about it. I just want to see. I just want to get an idea of how y'all feel about this bill. How y'all feel about this stuff? Because this bill is they hot. Do y'all watch what is his name? Something the Great Lucas? I think that's his name. Let me look him up because I follow him and I just can't remember his name. He been talking about. Oh, let's see. What is his name? Lucas. Amazing Lucas. I've been watching him. He been talking. I enjoy watching Amazing Lucas. Democracy Now. I've been watching that. Al Jazeera. Let's look at Al Jazeera. Before I go, let's look at what's going on with Al Jazeera, and then I'm gonna go because I need to take my allergy medicine. Al Jazeera ain't missing no beat. Here we go. Hold on. I'm gonna share this. And then I am out.
We strongly condemn and denounce this criminal act that violates human rights and the basic right to access of information. Al Jazeera affirms its right to continue to provide news and information to its global audiences. All the equipments were taken away from one of our live positions. We will continue to abide by the law, and I think in the coming days, we will try to pursue all legal paths to counter this. But for now, the coverage will continue.
At City Harvest, we're on the road every day rescuing millions of pounds of nutrition.
We are back with the chilling effect of Israel's shutdown today of Al Jazeera's operations in the country and the message it sends just 2 days after World Press Freedom Day. With us now, Mohammed Mawad, managing editor of Al Jazeera. Mohammed, it's great to have you with us. We just laid out how today marked a new extreme in Israel's efforts to muzzle Al Jazeera's coverage. First of all, what is your response to the decision and the actions by the Israeli government in shutting down your organization's operations inside Israel?
Thanks for having me, Ayman. This is a sad day for all the journalistic community. This is an attack on journalism that has started from the beginning of this war. The Israeli government has been placing pressure on us, then targeting our journalists directly. Three of our colleagues were killed covering from the front line by an Israeli airstrike. And the intimidation continued with this decision today. And we consider it a criminal action by the Israeli government because it violates the human rights laws and it's against the human rights and the freedom of expression. And we will continue to pursue all legal actions needed to counter this and to make sure that we respond to these baseless allegations against Al Jazeera that we think is an effort to silence our coverage in Gaza and to conceal what's happening there. And that's why we are not going to weaponize our platform. No, we are going to continue the coverage, impartial, objective coverage of Al Jazeera from the beginning of this war. And that's a commitment that Al Jazeera have taken since the launch of the channel.
Let me ask you just about, if you can, the operations for a minute. Can you clarify what territories Israel's shutdown of Al Jazeera means to you? As I understand it, the ban is only being enforced inside what is called Israel proper, the 1948 line, not the occupied territories of the West Bank, Gaza, or East Jerusalem. Where will the ban be enforced exactly? And what is your logistical impact on your reporting?
To be honest, Ayman, since this decision is a politicized one, the situation is ambiguous. The Israeli government have enacted a law that would allow the prime minister and its cabinet, even the minister of communication, to take actions against Al Jazeera under an emergency law, and this allows for a 45 days ban. And that kind of ban, which is a very ambiguous kind of word, is enacted according to the government itself. They can do it for the Israeli territories only, and they can extend it to the Palestinian territories as well. But up until now, the actions that was taken is limited to Israel and Jerusalem. That's why you have seen in this images that you have heard before this interview, them trying to block our team from covering the news from a remote location. This wasn't our office, but rather a room for a live location for our Al Jazeera English team. And that goes as well for other locations of Al Jazeera, and the main office, of course, in Jerusalem. We have an office in Ramallah, the West Bank. Up until now, we haven't received anything to indicate that they are going to take action against that office. But of course, this ambiguous kind of law and a statement by the government could be weaponized against us as much as the Prime Minister Netanyahu needs.
Let me ask you about why you think the Israeli government did this from your opinion. Because on one hand, Al Jazeera was the first, if not certainly one of the first, to broadcast the statements of the Israeli government many, many years ago. You were the first network to have Israeli officials speak directly to the Arab world. Al Jazeera was accused at some times of normalizing Israel in the Arab world. And now the Israeli government is shutting you down, saying you are harming national security, you're not meeting professional standards that are applied around the world. Why do you think Al Jazeera was shut down by the Israeli government after a long history with Israel?
Ayman, we have seen this intimidation before in the Arab world with the authoritarian regimes. I mean, they have accused us of violating the security or threatening the national security and the definition of national.
Y'all don't do me like that. My brain was saying 1984 and I typed 1985. Everybody had to read 1984 in high school. So don't be doing me like that. Y'all be counting my mistakes. Don't do me like that. I'm the Speaker of the House. I get to argue with Yakova, the president. They'll be like, escort her out the room. But y'all don't come for me. I might watch the movie. 1984 was good, but yeah, I actually watched the movie. But don't do me like that. Whatever up next. And who else called me out? Who else said something? I ain't gonna leave you out. It was Up Next and Team Truth. Whatever. Y'all trying to come for me. Whatever. I'm finna go ahead and play my little video. Don't do me like that. Because I said I was thinking 1984 and typed 1985. Hold on.
National security has been weaponized against us and used against us to stop us from covering the news and covering the unsavory aspects of government and officials. And we have seen that repeating itself now with Israel, which is a little surprising because it calls itself a democracy. But it is the same story and the same argument the same argument again. We've been banned in some countries, the aftermath of Arab Spring, because they claimed we are a threat to the national security. And that's the same argument the Israeli government is using now. And to your point regarding the Arab world, we've been criticized a lot by the Arab world that we are inviting Israeli officials to be on Al Jazeera, and at the same time air what contradicts their statements. But we continue to invite them. We continue to interview them. And, however, we know that most of our audiences don't feel comfortable having them on our screen, but we are committed to the impartial, objective coverage, and we continue to invite and interview them as well as invite Hamas leaders and interview them as well. And that's our coverage from the beginning of the war.
Let me ask you, we have about 45 seconds left, but are you concerned what this might mean for other international news organizations operating in Israel? Should they be concerned following what happened today to your news organization?
Of course, and I call upon the international community to take action this time. We've seen the killing of our journalists and no one, done anything. I mean, this time it is very important because up till now, we are 7 months now in this war, and more than this. And we haven't seen any international journalists entering Gaza. And we think that this move is an attempt to silence Al Jazeera and to conceal what's happening inside the Gaza Strip, and to try to delegitimize our coverage by saying that we don't operate in Israel, but we are committed.
Yep, they mad. So I'm gonna play one more and then I'm going to bed. Hold on. Share this tab.
A tree falls in a forest, but no one is around. Did it make a sound? Israel is counting on dimming the noise by kicking out Al Jazeera from operating in Israel. The Qatari network has both an English language and Arabic channel and is world-renowned for its reporting in the region. Let's listen to this news.
If you're watching this pre-recorded report, then Al Jazeera has been banned in the territory of Israel. On April the 1st, the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, passed a law that allowed the prime minister to ban Al Jazeera. He's now enacted that law. Let me just take you through some of the definitions within the law. They've banned our website, including anything that has the option of entering or accessing the website, even passwords that are needed, whether they're paid or not, and whether it's stored on Israeli servers or outside of Israel. The website is now inaccessible.
Meanwhile, it appears that Israel is one step closer to invading Rafah, the southernmost point in Gaza where Palestinian refugees have fled over the last 7 months. It called for residents and displaced people to what it is calling an expanded humanitarian zone. There were rockets fired by Hamas over the weekend into Kerem Shalom that killed 4 soldiers that seemed to provoke the Israeli leader into moving ahead with a long-threatened invasion into Rafah. Here with us to unpack all of this and more is Trita Parsi, Vice President of the Quincy Institute. Thanks for coming on.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local recordings are now available on StreamYard. Have you ever done a recording where your guests just had terrible internet issues? They were blurry, they were freezing, you could almost hardly hear them. Well, with local recordings from StreamYard, you'll be able to download a
Thank you for having me.
So I'm curious your initial thoughts in reaction to the banning of Al Jazeera in Israel. What do you think the impact of this will be, and what do you make of this move? What do you make
this
of
is clearly
of
a
this?
very worrying sign, because at the end of the day, Al Jazeera has played a crucial role in revealing what is actually happening in Gaza. It will continue to be able to do so for the rest of the world, but the Israeli public, who already has been deprived of outside news of what is taking place in Israel, and friends I've spoken to in Israel are telling me that you're not seeing these images on Israeli TV. So most Israelis are not even understanding fully what is taking place in Gaza. Taking Al Jazeera out further deprives the Israeli public of being able to understand what their army and what their government actually is doing, and what the actual relationship is when it comes to the negotiations taking place on the release of the hostages. But beyond that, it's also very important because we have seen just last week at the correspondence dinner, Biden speaking very firmly about the need for freedom of press and protection of journalists. This is yet another example in which, if Biden is going to continue to have this level of support for Israel, he's going to have to do so by compromising his own and America's values when it comes to standing up for freedom of the press. Just remember what happened when the Russians were doing similar things.
Indeed. What is the stated military objective of a ground invasion of Rafah, and what is likely to result? We're seeing that the map was showed that the designated area that they're supposed to move to for humanitarian reasons, although I can't imagine that is much of a consolation or will be so, rigorously enforced that, you're absolutely safe and you're in those areas. We've seen civilians not safe even when moving through areas that are supposed to be safe in other areas of Gaza. But why does the Israeli military consider this to be an important military target?
It's not entirely clear as to why they really do. It seems like it's more of an effort to just continue the war. The Netanyahu government clearly does not want to end this war, and it's become very clear as part of the hostage release negotiations as well that he is not committing to anything that actually ends the war. At best, it will be a few weeks of a ceasefire, and then he will resume it. By going into Rafah right now, that is an effective way of killing any negotiations about the release of the hostages. And we have seen him say just a few days ago that whether there is or isn't a hostage deal, Israel will go into Rafah. So that in many ways has killed these negotiations about the hostage release and a ceasefire. And when it comes to what the strategic objective is, one has to ask oneself, what has Israel achieved in the last 7 months of fighting right now? We saw that Hamas still has the ability to attack Israel and kill Israeli soldiers. So after killing more than 34,000 people, the vast majority of them women and children, what has Israel achieved and what could it possibly achieve by just extending this into yet another city, which it told Palestinians to flee to, and now is telling them it's going to invade that place?
Now, I do want to point out that Al Jazeera's live feed footage was key in the investigation into what happened in the Al Shifa hospital. A lot of Al Jazeera's reporting has been key for the international community to assess Israel's actions since their invasion of Gaza. And so now we're at this point where the Biden administration has time and again said that Netanyahu needs to operate responsibly in Rafah. Of course, a lot of the Israeli military's weapons are provided by the United States. They're bolstered by US dollars. And we're at a point where we've had John Kirby repeatedly say, we're not checking their homework. We're not assessing what their plans are in Rafah. But time and again, when we don't check their homework, we end up in a situation where they're violating international law, human rights law. So what do you make of the current Biden administration's position, now Al Jazeera being banned in Israel, seemingly just before they invade Rafah, when they're leaving a lot of the ceasefire deals on the table? What do you make of the US's role in all of this in the current situation?
I think there's only one way of describing it is, frankly, that it is quite shameful, because the Biden administration has said earlier on that it didn't want to see Israel go into Rafah, that it warned it against it. Then it softened its position and say, well, you only do so if there's a way to protect civilians. There is no way to protect the civilians, and Israel is now about to go in anyways. And yet Biden is funding, protecting, and arming Israel while this is all happening. If any other country would have done this, we would have correctly pointed out that they are complicit in the war crimes that are being carried out by Israel. And yet Biden doesn't seem to be too worried about the tremendous loss of standing that this has incurred on the United States because of its protection and its arming and its enabling of what Israel has been doing for the last 7 months. And I think, again, at some point, what this really shows is that when Biden actually does want to put a stop to Israel, he knows how to do so. Just take a look at what happened with the exchange of fire between Israel and Iran a couple of weeks ago, in which the Biden administration actually did put some pressure and made sure that the Israeli response to the Iranian response ended up becoming very, very limited. That's a case in which it was very clear he did not want to see a larger regional war. He put pressure, and it succeeded. The only reason why it is not succeeding right now is because he's actually not putting any pressure, because at the end of the day, he seems to be constantly caving to Netanyahu when it comes to what's happening in Gaza, less so when it comes to what's happening in the region. But if he actually wanted to, then he could put a stop to this, and he could restore America's standing as well.
It reminds me of, the decision in Ukraine to suspend some political parties and also free, independent, regime-critical media outlets. This took place in Ukraine as we're told the stakes of this conflict are existential, and this is the stakes for the West and for democratic governance, the resistance against Russia in this effort. And then you have, ostensibly the Western democratic, anti-tyranny faction resorting to these measures, which, take place during wartime in America. There have been, in the US, there have been horrific abridgments of free speech and civil liberties, obviously during wartime, during World War II, during World War I, during the Civil War, and so on. But I think it does, it's impossible not to feel the hypocrisy of our own regime, of our own administration. As you mentioned, in recent weeks, having a White House Correspondents' Dinner, talking about the threat to these values, and positioning it as coming from within, coming from, frankly, from the other political faction, right, from Donald Trump, when we are so willing to overlook obvious violations of these policies in our so-called allies.
Absolutely. I'll go back to something I've said on your show earlier on. Unfortunately, hypocrisy, double standards is part of the playbook of any great power. You're not ever going to find any great power that is going to be completely clean in that sense. The question, though, is when do you invoke that double standard? You do so when there's an actual core interest of your own nation that is at stake, and as a result, you end up setting aside values, morals, etc., because of your own core interest and protection. The question here is, what is the core interest of the United States in a continued slaughter in Gaza that is so worthwhile that Biden is willing to go to these excesses, these lengths, to throw out the window American values, American standing, which will have a long-term impact on the United States long after Biden no longer is president? I cannot see a single compelling U.S. national interest that justifies what the Biden administration is doing in terms of sacrificing values that we believe are crucial for the foundation of America.
So you see how the narrative is being flipped now. They're not really talking about Israel and what they're doing. They're now talking about America. America now is in the forefront as the engine behind everything that's going on over there. Have y'all noticed that every single report they may talk about Israel here and there? They give you, Bibi is cutting up. Bibi is cutting up sideways. Everybody knows that. But now that narrative is shifted. He's saying, why is America not stepping in? Why is America funding this? Why is America allowing this? Their own arrogance is now getting ready to flip upside down, and it's going to end up biting them. That's what I see right now. Their arrogance. Their arrogance. So I finished playing it.
Foreign policy.
Would love your quick thoughts on how the response to student protests that are pro-Palestine across the country, how the response of militarized police being called to campus, the national response of Congress and the administration's comments, is that affecting the view of the U.S. on the world stage in your view?
Unfortunately, yes, and very predictably so. You have countries such as Iran, who has a horrible human rights record, pointing to this as a way of essentially leveling the playing field and pointing out that the U.S. is doing, in their view, the same thing as their own governments and other governments have done when they have clamped down on their protesters. I think this, the whole episode here is in a very, very bizarre, I have to say. There is an ongoing a war, a slaughter, war crimes being committed. It is being committed in our name. It is being committed with our weapons, with our money. And to expect that there won't be an element, at least one element in this country that will stand up and protest against it. And overwhelmingly, these protests have been completely peaceful. We have seen clearly that in the case of UCLA, for instance, where the violence actually came from, a counter protest that was funded by outsiders, not from people from the university itself. We've seen in these cases what it actually does. And I think ultimately it is part and parcel of how we are sacrificing our own standing, our own values, and our own soft power in the world by conducting ourselves in this way.
Just real quick before we let you go, what is going on with ceasefire negotiations? Were they ever real? The news we heard in recent weeks, are we just at such a, an impasse that that Israel's position is that no lasting peace can exist until Hamas is defeated or surrenders or gives up power, and Hamas obviously has no willingness to take that deal and is going to then keep the hostages in that case. Are we any closer to a breakthrough there?
The breakthrough that was hoped for has fallen apart, and at the end of the day, as was reported in Israeli media itself, it comes down to the fact that Netanyahu refuses to agree to a permanent ceasefire and an end to the war. He is not willing to get his hostages back, his Israeli citizens back, in order to end the war, but wants to continue this war. And one can say, well, it's because Hamas has not been defeated. Yes, but Hamas will not be defeated militarily. That was very clear from the very beginning. And as I mentioned on this show, just listen to what other Israeli officials, including former Prime Minister Ehud Olmert, have said about this. It's just an impossibility to defeat it entirely militarily. But Netanyahu doesn't want to end this war for obvious reasons. The minute this war ends, his political career ends, and most likely his prison sentence begins. And it's part of the reason why it's so problematic that Biden has tied U.S. policy to Netanyahu's decisions, mindful of the fact that Netanyahu has no interest in seeing this conflict come to an end, even if it means that the Israeli hostages will continue to linger and unfortunately die in the captivity of Hamas.
Dr. Parsi, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to bed, but do y'all notice that the whole conversation flipped and turned, and it really wasn't talking about Israel, it was more of the U.S. I'm telling y'all, if they bring Israel in on war crimes, U.S. got to go get caught in the crossfire, because now there is a permanent connection now that they cannot shake off. U.S. to Israel. In fact, it was a president, I forgot which president, said, do not allow your relationship to get so connected with Israel. To the point you can't make the distinction, and that's where they are right now. Biden went in head first. He said, I'm here for the fight, and now he's in the middle of the fight. And where they always thought they were the good guy, they're the bad guy in this. I mean, I still say they always been the bad guy in my book. They the bad guy, but yeah. I wonder if they're going to make them pay reparation. They're going to say, well, since U.S., you want to jump in, Israel got to pay reparation to Gaza, and you got to pay reparation to us. Yeah, I honestly think that this is going to be a deeper conversation. So, yeah, I'm going to go to bed. I'm getting ready to go to bed, and I'm getting sleepy. I just took my allergy medicine. I will see y'all later on this week. Tomorrow, I might not do nothing. I don't know. It may depend on how I feel, because something may pop up on the news, and I got to hurry up and get on. Breaking news, something transpired, because you can't really tell in this climate right now. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Y'all come on back now. You hear? Y'all come on back now. You hear? When I do something. So I want everybody back in here. I'm getting ready to go to bed, though. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, New Day Vlog, for your 2 super chats. $22, New Day Vlog. Thank you so much for your super chats. Y'all, I'm going to bed. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. If you have not hit that like button, smash that like button, because we want to bring more people into the conversation. Share this with your peers and your friends so they can join into the conversation. Healthy conversation doesn't hurt. Y'all, thank you for Amber and Receive being here. Let me know how that, you know what, you see with them type of people, you make one mistake. I tell you about Team Truth. You're on my list. Thank you for saying be healed. I'm finna go to sleep, though. I thank y'all. I love y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your evening. I'm sorry for yawning, but good night, y'all. It is 11 o'clock my time, so I'm down for the count. I'll see y'all on tomorrow, either Wednesday. Good night.